Clear the air lanes for the big broadcast.
We're not professional podcasters.
Say what?
We barely know what we're doing.
It's funny because it's true.
But we have fun anyway.
I'm here to podcast.
Does everybody know what time it is?
We're going streaky! Yeah!
No, we're not. It's time for movies, pop culture, and more with the all-new Culture Cast, starting now. I'm Nick.
I'm the Gorehound.
And I'm Jen.
And welcome to the all-new Culture Cast. This week we are going to be, well, happy 2017, first of all. This is our first recording.
Happy 2017!
This is our first
Woo!
technical recording of the new year, so we're starting our third year, or for people out there, third season, or I don't know what you want to call it, third go-around, as we get some brand new stuff. But what we're going to be looking at is, we're going to be looking ahead at various movies and TV shows that are going to be coming out within the next year, kind of a 2017 preview. We did one last year for 2016, so I guess this might be a annual thing, maybe. So, are we all excited over there?
Yeah, I'm just excited to talk about movies, so I'm always excited about that.
I have a question for you guys. I'm springing this on you. Do you want to do a regular segment of what you've been watching, or do you want to talk about any resolutions you might have had for this year? Any New Year resolutions?
Like as in our New Year media resolutions? I have one for Gorehound. It's to watch a television show, like a comedy.
Well,
we can make resolutions for each other, right?
I'm trying. Okay. I'm watching that the Legend of Tomorrow. That's a TV show.
Oh, I'm proud of you.
Yeah,
Sounds like a boring sci-fi one, but that's still steps.
It's like a CW. It's like a CW one. It's fun.
Is it superheroes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, you give me one TV series that I can binge, and I'll do that for you.
Okay. All right. Let me think about it. I'll come back to this.
I'm trying to read more. I got 3 novels and a whole bunch of comics that I want to get through. I'm a pretty slow reader, but that is, in a nutshell. How about yourself, Nick?
I'm kind of mooching off my wife when it comes to these 2 resolutions, because they were hers, but they're really good, so I'm going to try to follow her with it. And
Nothing wrong with that.
The 2 main ones are, 1, becoming more organized. And sometimes being more organized in the sense of, like, if you want to do some things, actually plan it out and do them, versus just like doing what we normally do on a weeknight and not get anything done. And so we're trying to work towards that. And in addition, we're trying. My other thing is, she's going to read at least 1 book a month, and I'm going to try to follow her in. Well, she has a lot of time, because she takes the train into work, yeah. So her goal is to read at least 1 book a month, and I'm going to try to follow her with that. We're not going to read necessarily the same books, but because she's more into like nonfiction, and I prefer fiction. But that's what I'm going to try to do.
Yeah.
Jen, did you give a resolution? I can't remember if you gave one.
I mean, I'm already perfect, but I think if I...
That's a spirit.
If I had to make a resolution, I'd say I think a good thing to do this year would be to try to see more movies at home. I'm pretty good at going out and seeing movies, and then when I bring a DVD home, like it's a red box or something, and I put it on, and then I pause it midway through so I can get a snack, and then I'm like cleaning the bathroom, and then like 4 days later, I'm like, oh my God, this DVD, I was supposed to return it. So I want to become somebody who's better at like sitting down and watching a movie when I'm not paying to do so.
Yeah, and you need to get more Harrison Ford flicks underneath your belt.
Yeah. Nick, did you hear that part from last week's episode where I realized I'd never seen a Harrison Ford movie except Age of Adeline?
Really? I didn't know that was possible. Because Harrison Ford's been in like so many well-known, popular films.
Right. Gorehound was really mad at me.
Because we were also talking about Blade Runner at the time, and I was like, favorite movie of all time, and she's like, Blade what?
Is it based off of a Philip K. Dick novel?
Sort of. Like most adaptations of Philip K. Dick stuff, it's
Yeah.
loosely inspired.
Sure, good enough for me. The fact is, I knew a fact.
Well,
Ready to jump on in?
I guess so. Do you have a man crush of the week?
Yes, Matthew McConaughey.
Man crush.
Okay.
I just realized, like, I've never really picked him, even though he's like awesome. Maybe I just seen so many videos and internet culture surrounding the guy, but this guy is just like golden. Everything he does, it's great. Matthew McConaughey, I'm finding that my movie preferences are leaning more towards cult, where I primarily follow individual actors or series. And I don't really find that he's a cult actor, but still all of his movies are just really great and fun to watch. Even though he does quite a few chick flicks, I would be more likely to sit through it if he was in it.
Alrighty. Well, I guess let's jump into today's topic, which is the upcoming 2017. So we got a lot of stuff here, and we're going to go in a roughly chronological order of what's scheduled to come out and when. And we're going to start off with a comic book-based property turning into a TV show, Riverdale, based on the Archie comics, coming to the CW. Masterminded by the creative people behind Arrow, Flash, Supergirl, pretty much the entire CW lineup. Jen, this was your choice. What makes you interested in CW? Or in Riverdale, rather.
So I didn't even realize this was actually coming out until I was looking up stuff that was coming out in 2017 for this podcast. I will admit, I don't tend to do a lot of, like, you know, if I go to a movie and there are the previews, I'll watch the previews, but I don't tend to, like, read a lot about movies or TV shows that are coming out because I kind of, you know, want them to, you know, come out and then I decide if I want to see them. So I hadn't realized that Riverdale was, like, actually coming out and was actually happening. And everything I've read about it makes it sound absolutely batshit. Like, I think Miss Grundy and Archie are, like, having an affair. And, like, so it's just, like, all this really weird stuff mixed together.
Is this pretty much just an Archie TV show?
Right.
Okay.
With a WB bent. Oh, I guess now the CW bent.
Right. And it looks so bananas. It looks like, I feel like about 5 years ago, there was some YouTube video where it was like these teenagers or, you know, 20-year-olds had come up with a fake preview for a TV show of Archie. And now that they've like made this, you know, I know it's not directly related, but it feels like it's in the same vein as like a bunch of teenagers going, wouldn't it be crazy if we had this TV show? And then the CW was like, yeah, it would be 6 years later. So anyway, you know, am I even going to watch it? I don't know, but I like that it exists.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to watch this one, but I'm totally supportive of it because it's sort of like a new take on the Archie gang while still being very Archie. Like all the hallmarks are there, like Archie, Jughead, you know, the Betty and Veronica love triangle.
Oh man, kudos to you for knowing all those characters.
Yeah, well, it's Americana. It's Americana.
I've never read an Archie comic.
See, that's the thing. Neither have I. I just know it from just osmosis.
Right. They've existed for 70 years. Actually, so I don't read comics, but I did read a few of these growing up.
Nerd.
You know,
Nerd.
I mean, I couldn't tell you anything in particular, but I just, you know, I don't know. When you're 10 and you're at the grocery store and it's by the register, you know.
If there was a comic that needed to be turned into a CW show, it was definitely going to be Archie.
Absolutely.
I can tell you I will not be watching this, but I await your reviews. I just can't get into much CW, really. I tried with a little bit of The Flash and something else, and it's just, I don't know, not my cup of tea.
Let's move on to this next one. This is also one on your list, Jen. Z, The Beginning of Everything.
So this is Christina Ricci starring as Zelda Fitzgerald, who historically has gotten a lot of the shaft. She was married to F. Scott Fitzgerald of Great Gatsby fame, so definitely a book you read when you were 16. And she was also a writer, but she had a lot of like mental illness and different things. I know her husband like stole some of her work and claimed it as his own. So I think it's about time. So and I fully admit I don't know about as much about her as I'd like to. So
what's her name? Her historical name?
Zelda. So anyway, Zelda was the wife of F. Scott Fitzgerald. She was kind of the toast of the 1920s, but she had a lot of mental illnesses and got put away. And her husband stole some of her writing. And so I think it'll be really interesting to kind of, get a more historical perspective on her. The show's coming out on, I think, Amazon. And I've never actually watched an Amazon TV show, but this may be the first.
Next, we have another TV show. We're just powering through all these shows, but I guess...
Yeah, Jen, you're hogging the first three. Come on.
It takes... The TV shows start up earlier than the movies do.
That's true. We have Powerless, the DC Comics comedy that doesn't actually not predicted to feature any major DC Comics characters, which I think is supposed to be on NBC. Yeah. Starring Vanessa Hudgens, Huggy Bear, what's her name?
Hudgens.
Okay.
Right. And Danny Pudi, who used to be on Community, and who I met in person one time, and he was my profile pic on Facebook for a long time.
Okay, so if this is a DC comic series, who are the DC characters?
It's none of these characters are in the comics. It's
right.
They're using the DC Comics universe as a setting to tell their comedy story.
Right. It's about people who work. I believe they work in an insurance agency or something.
Why can't they just put comic book characters in there?
Probably because it costs too much money.
I don't see why it's that difficult. Just grab a few randos and.
I think they might use like the third string characters that no one cares about, but you're never going to see Batman or Superman on the show.
Right.
I mean, maybe, right?
Well, I guess anything's possible, but I suspect not.
Okay.
Right. But
yeah, the show. I guess I just read something. It's no longer an insurance company. It's now a security company. The show's been through some rewrites since the original pilot, apparently. But
fair enough.
Yeah, I guess it's about regular people dealing with or trying to help other regular people with superhero problems, from what I understand. And hilarity ensues.
Right.
We started talking about this before the show began, and the Gorehound told us, stop it.
Right.
That I don't think...
Save the content for the podcast.
I don't think the show is going to last very long. And it has nothing to do with content or anything. I don't know. It could be good. It could be bad. I have no thoughts on this show one way or another. I just think... I think it's too niche that it won't catch on, especially on NBC.
Okay, here is my counter argument. I hear what you're saying, but I would like to point out again, I did meet Danny Pudi in real life, so I want him to be successful.
Oh, I want all these people to be successful. I like, was it Alan Tudyk, I think, is in it? And everything I've seen him in he's a solid actor.
Sure. But here's why I think okay, I'm gonna qualify this. I don't necessarily think the show is going to be a huge success, but I think it will be successful with critics. And I think NBC is hurting for comedy. I've talked before on the show about how they're trying to get their comedy block back, and it's not like they've got anything else. So I think this will be something that they really will keep on. I think it'll probably do not terribly well in the ratings, but I think they'll keep it because what else are they going to do? They're NBC, and I think it'll become in sort of a similar way to Community, where they never have a huge following, but the people they have are all like fanatical and a little bit off about the whole thing. So I think it'll be something like that. Like I think the people who like it will love it. And the people who don't know about it will continue to not know about it because there's too many shows who can keep track.
Right. Well, I hope for the show's sake that you are correct on that.
Yeah.
Well, I look forward. Let's revisit this conversation in about a year's time and see where things are at with the show. So.
Absolutely.
All right. Next, we're going to get. And speaking of DC Comics, we're going to get into our first movie, one that I am actually looking forward to, the Lego Batman movie. I was a fan of the Lego movie that came out a few years back.
I think everybody was. That one
sure.
was incredible.
And I am looking, like the previews I've seen for the Lego Batman one, which obviously centers on Batman, this time still played by Will Arnett.
Michael Cera.
Yeah, and Michael Cera's Robin.
Nice.
Oh my god.
It looks funny. It looks ridiculous. More of what we got with the Lego movie. So I'm looking forward to that. I think it has the potential to be entertaining, but previews can be deceiving, and I don't know many spin-offs of movie franchises that have been, especially of franchises more directed towards family audiences, that have been successful.
And we don't have any Chris Pratt in this.
We do not, because I guess this is... I don't know if this takes place in the same fictional world that the Lego movie took place in, or what they're doing. If it's just a... My guess is they want to do a comedy Batman movie without it being live action or too much of a cartoon, so they figured this would be an easy middle ground.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I predict this might be the best Batman movie ever.
No.
You're right. The 1966 Adam West Batman movie was the best Batman movie ever. So yeah, that's the Lego Batman there. Let's go to another one that you might be more excited about. John Wick 2.
Excited. Yes. I think there's been 2 trailers out. And the first one I just loved. Yeah, we did that the Keanu and John Wick duo podcast.
Available now.
Yeah. So this one, I don't really know how they're going to continue the story, other than basically doing the same exact story. Which there's nothing wrong with doing that because, this isn't really story based. It's the story is pretty simple. But yeah, basically John Wick looks like a badass, and now I know what to expect from him this time. So, yeah. How are you feeling about it?
I never saw the first one, so I don't know.
You haven't seen it yet?
Nah. It's on my to watch list. Jen, did you see John Wick?
No, absolutely not.
Very violent. Yeah, as soon as they released that trailer, I'd watched it that very next day.
So you're not a true fan. You would have watched it the moment they released it.
Well, I usually hear about these trailer releases during my time at work. And
doesn't make a difference. You find yourself a computer terminal. Load that
I'm
up.
a busy guy. I am an adult who watches Jay and Silent Bob every 3 weeks.
That's true.
I have my priorities.
Alrighty. The next one on the list is one that I'm looking forward to. Logan, the third and presumably final Wolverine movie starring Hugh Jackman.
Do you hope it's the final one? Because I do.
Ouch.
How in the world are they still making Wolverine movies?
No, this movie is about how old and shit he is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Old man Logan. It's...
Well, here's the thing. On most circumstances, I'm kind of burnt out on superhero movies. However, I've been a fan of the X-Men franchise, and particularly Hugh Jackman as Wolverine since he began. So he's been sort of my the drawing what draws me into these movies. And the last Wolverine movie that titled The Wolverine, directed by James Mangold, James Manny, we'll just call him that because I can't remember his last name, is doing this movie again, and the last one was really, really good. I have high hopes for this one. The trailer looks extremely promising. It looks dark.
Xavier in there?
I'm sorry?
With Professor Xavier in there?
Yes, Patrick Stewart is tagging along. It's been getting good early buzz, so I'm excited about it. Plus, Hugh Jackman is amazing, so I fully support it. I'm looking forward to it. It doesn't look like the typical superhero movie.
And he looks so old, and I don't know. I haven't really been a fan of him. I've never really been a fan of Wolverine as a character. So maybe I didn't really have that going in. But I just feel like it's time to pass the torch.
And I think he thinks the same thing. But he wants to go out with this last.
It's not going to be his last. I mean,
I don't know. He's getting up there. I mean, he still looks amazing. And I'm sure if he wanted to, he could pump another 1 or 2 out, but he's I think he's in his 50s now. And to look as good as he did in the Wolverine, I don't know how cut he is in this movie, but it's not easy to keep that routine up. I don't know. I'm looking forward to it, and I'll tell you how great it is afterwards. Or how terrible
you think you'll see it in theaters?
I would like to, but, anything's possible. I know my wife is a big Hugh Jackman fan as well, so that could be a date night of sorts.
Get the women in there,
Oh, there's a scene in every Wolverine movie. There's a scene, for no reason whatsoever, that he takes off his shirt. And it's specifically for the female audience. And I'm okay with that. So, let's move on. Trainspotting 2.
Oh, man. I did not even realize... I had heard that this was coming out, and it was kind of under my radar, or fell out of my radar for at least a year, and then they just released a trailer. I don't know if they just released it, but I just saw that it was out there. And the trailer looks so promising. It has the character and the aura of the original, and I think that it is directed by Danny Boyle also. Danny Boyle has always been a favorite director of mine. Yeah, it looks fun. Trainspotting used to be one of my favorite movies, where I would just watch it a lot, put it in the background, and the soundtrack is great.
More or less than Jay and Silent Bob?
I don't know. They're different eras in my life. I think I watched Jay and Silent Bob more than I did Trainspotting. I guess you guys have no opinion on this one?
I never saw the original.
Yeah.
I know it's a movie, and people say it's good, but I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's all about drugs and living life, and I try to read the book because it is based off of a book, and it's in I don't know who wrote it, but it's a very British or English book, and I couldn't get through the first 5 pages because it was written with a dialect or something, and I just didn't understand anything that was going on. And it's kind of how the movie is, or the original is, because I would have to frequently put the subtitles on because I just couldn't understand what they were saying. There's this part where one of the characters is going in for a job interview, and I just could never hear whatever he was saying, so I'd always have to listen to it on subtitles. But it got me hooked.
Like heroin.
Yeah.
I'm making a connection to the movie. Anyway, let's move on. Next one here, Power Rangers, which is not quite a comic book, but it's definitely a superhero movie. Taking the old school 90s campy children's program and turning it into a serious action film.
Right, and this isn't just a reboot. This is, I guess it's more of a remake. Because Power Rangers has gone through a number of seasons where each season they do something different. We have they
change the casts and the setting and everything.
Right, and I think that they're going back to. Well, I know that they're going back to the roots of the first season Power Rangers and first season villains.
Yeah,
which is I feel what got most people hooked. And I mean, I grew up in this time where I dressed up as the Red Ranger for many years. So I'm the perfect audience. And I don't feel like this is really primarily targeted towards kids. I think this is targeted towards a pretty wide range of audiences.
Yeah, they want to go after the Marvel crowd with this one.
Right, and it's got a science fiction flair to it also. I have high hopes for this. I think it's going to be... Actually, the trailer is good. The concept might not be that great, but I'm looking forward to it.
Did you guys watch that show as kids?
I did when it first came on, because I was just edging out where... I think it came out when I was like in 5th grade. So I was right at the age where it was still okay, but, you know, by the next year or so, it was like, no, you're too old to be watching this. So I caught a little bit when it first came on, but then I quickly dropped out of it.
Right. I feel like I watched a little bit of it as a kid, but I can also not tell you a single fact about it. Like, I don't remember any of their names. I don't remember any of the things that happened. I don't remember any of the villains. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of looking at it as a new project from that perspective.
Well, Jen, I think this next one is yours. Great news.
So I don't know a ton about this new show. It's going to be a new comedy on NBC. I know, keeping in my brand. But what I like about it is it's from the same people that brought us Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, which is Tina Fey and some other person. I don't know. But I really loved Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. This is about a woman whose mother gets an internship at her company, I believe. So, I don't know. The premise doesn't sound that interesting, but the team that's involved is all great. So I have high hopes.
I haven't heard of it at all, so.
Yeah, who is in this?
Hold on, let me pull up my
Because I see that Tina Fey is the only person that I recognize.
Right, I don't think she's in it. It looks like okay, let's see. Horatio Sands, Andrea Martin, Nicole Richie. Oh, I didn't know she was still in TV. Adam Campbell, I don't know who that is. And then what's his name? John Michael Higgins.
Okay.
Who's that kind of announcer-looking dude?
Yeah, who's in pretty much any comedy when they need a stuffy guy in a suit.
So I think it could be, fun. But like I said, I just kind of implicitly trust Tina Fey to come up with interesting TV.
Yeah.
Probably also, fairly niche, but beloved by the people who watch it. So that is something that is coming out that I found out when I was researching things that were coming out. So I'm into it.
Yeah, and Tina Fey's pretty solid.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so I'm, so we'll see what happens.
Alrighty. Next one up is A Handmaid's Tale.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So this is going to be, I think this is Hulu. Hold on. This one is, I'm sorry, yes, this is Hulu. And it's based off of The Handmaid's Tale is based off of the book by... Oh, man, I can remember her name now. Anyway, so the book is...
Zelda Fitzgerald.
Zelda Fitzgerald, perfect.
Yeah, wait, what about her?
No, I'm being an a-hole.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So, The Handmaid's Tale is going to be a TV show focused on, based off of the book, which... so the book is kind of this idea of a dystopian future where young women are kept on as kind of like breeding machines for richer women. And so if the richer women discover that they can't have babies, they get a handmaid to do all of that for them, to do the caring of the babies and presumably the raising of them too. So anyway, they're doing a series about it, and I know they've had some attempts at of the novel, but they've never managed to do a TV show as far as I'm aware. I think it could be really interesting. You know, you've got dystopia, you've got kind of the like medical and sexual horror going on there. I think it'll be a really interesting story to tell.
Oh my gosh, I have to interrupt.
Yeah.
The Graveyard Queen got me The Handmaid's Tale for Christmas like a year ago. And I was supposed to read it last year, and it is now. This is one of my 3 books that I'm supposed to read, and I'm holding it in my hand, and I just made that connection that this is what you're talking about.
Yes. Do you want to read the back of the book for our listeners?
Do I? It's pretty long.
Okay. Well. Okay. Can you tell me who the author is?
Margaret Atwood.
Margaret Atwood. Yeah. And this is a book I have read, so you know it's interesting and also horrifying. You should.
When is this being released?
April.
Oh my! All right, I have a few months. I have to get through this.
You can do it.
That will be my TV series that I watch this year. Oh my gosh! I'm gonna look so culturally significant this year.
Okay, yeah. I'm going to remember that statement, and we'll revisit it when we at our year-end review to see if. Can
we just play that clip at the end of every episode?
I could. I should.
I'm going to be culturally significant this year.
I'm going to try.
I love it.
Alrighty. All right, moving back into the world of movies, we have. I guess it's the first. No, probably not. I don't know. One of the 900 Marvel movies that are coming out within the next 3 years. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
Mm-hmm. It looks so much fun. Like, I'm just a sucker for it. I watched the trailer and I was so into it. And Chris Pratt is just golden. You can't tell me that you're not looking forward to it.
I am.
Oh. No, it's going to be fun.
Yeah, I like the first one enough that I don't know if I'll race out to see it in theaters, but I wouldn't mind checking it out eventually.
And this one has Kurt Russell in it, so that's
Stallone,
always a plus for me. Stallone.
I think Stallone's going to be in it too. Which is hilarious that he's in it because he was like lambasting superhero movies not that long ago.
Yeah. And the name of the movie, Volume 2, is so great because it plays right in with the main character's like hardcore interest.
Mixtape.
Right.
Right, and the music is so good because that's what got me into the first one. Was the moment that they started playing that "Ooga Chaka, Ooga 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 Chaka" song at the very beginning, I was like hooked.
Mm-hmm.
And the music is the music just is brilliant.
Well, it definitely formed a part of that movie's tone with the music and everything. So
yeah, they did a great job with that.
The next movie on our list is Prometheus 2, Alien 5, Covenant 3.
No, I hated Prometheus so much.
It was
Jen, you continue to amaze me at how much of a contrast we have in our cinematic interests.
I know. I don't walk out of movies very often, but I walked out of Prometheus. I was like, this is enough of this.
Prometheus is pretty awful.
It was fun. I mean,
you had characters you didn't care about, characters doing things that made no sense for the sake of moving a plot along. You had a guy who was a biologist studying alien stuff, and when he sees an alien snake, instead of being protective about it, he pokes it with a stick. And you had a geologist who gets freaking lost in a cave.
Yeah, but we got to see the spaceship. We got to see an alien, and that alien was crazy. I mean, it wasn't that crazy. He just looked really intense. Like, he pretty much looked like a human did. Because they created humans. Spoiler.
I mean, granted, the engineers, they use my body likeness for them. I was really honored that Ridley Scott wanted me to
shut up.
Use my cut body for the engineers, but It's not a good movie.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be that great. I just love this long-standing series. Alien is awesome. I mean, I can't say that enough. He's such a cool character, and I love to see how this universe is expanding. I mean, you get to see where are we going from here, and how are we going to connect, with the
Ripley?
girl. Yeah. Because I'm just waiting for another connection to Ripley, even though we shouldn't be seeing it.
Well, I don't know. We'll find out.
Yeah.
One way or another. Let's move on to something hopefully more positive. Diary of a Wimpy Kid 4.
Yeah, it's
I didn't even know they were making a fourth movie.
Yeah, I didn't know either until I was doing some research and I saw that it was. Let me grab the title. No, The Long Haul. Yeah, it's a comedy based off a comic book series, graphic novel series, and I don't really do a whole lot of these like teen movies, but this one is really funny. The relationship between the main character and his like his older brother is awesome, and he's got like that Loaded Diaper band, the van.
I've never seen these movies, so I don't know.
I was gonna say the book series came out when I was, pretty much past the age of reading it, but I know they were, huge. They made a ton of money, and if they're on movie number 4, the movies must have made some good money too.
But I feel like the first 3 came out like really close to one another, and then it's been like forever since the last one came out. That's weird that I feel like there's been... Maybe I'm just building it up in my mind, I don't know. I don't have the information in front of me, but it's just... I don't know, I was not expecting a fourth one after all this time.
Yeah, I mean, it's... I don't know anything about it, but just the fact that it's coming out is pretty cool. I'll watch it, and I know the Graveyard Queen really likes it. We own the set.
Well, I've heard they're pretty good, so maybe I'll have to borrow that set from you from some time.
You got it.
Alrighty. Let's move on then. I'll only mention this one briefly. I'm cautiously optimistic about Wonder Woman. Only because it's something different. And I don't mean different in the sense that, ooh, it's a girl that's a superhero. I mean, yes, that flavors it differently than all the male superhero movies that we've had, which, trust me, we've had a ton of them. But I like the fact that it's set during World War One, which is a setting you don't get to see too often in movies. I feel it's like World War II or bust.
Well, didn't Captain America play that out?
Captain America was World War II.
Oh.
This is the great one, WW1. I've always liked the mythology behind Wonder Woman, like the Greek gods and everything. So I'd be curious to see how that gets played out in this. Of course, the DC movies haven't had the best track record, so I'll probably wait for the reviews to come in to see whether to go to see this in the theater or more likely wait for the Redbox or HBO, whichever comes first.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Jen,
Yeah, I don't think I'll see this in theaters. It's just there's a lot of attention around it because it's the first female-led DC movie, and it's great that they're doing
now
it.
that's not true. Let's not forget the awesomeness that was Halle Berry's Catwoman.
Oh my gosh!
Fair
One
enough.
of the worst movies of all time.
You only say that because you're sexist.
Yeah.
Actually, no, it was terrible. It was really bad.
Yeah, I even watched it just to see how bad it was, and it was difficult to say the least.
Jen, do you have
Yeah.
any thoughts on Wonder Woman?
I feel conflicted because definitely all for like ass kicking ladies, for female led superheroes. I feel like anytime there's a female superhero movie and it doesn't do well, Hollywood blames the genre and women and not the fact that they put out shitty movies. So you get Catwoman and then you don't get another female led superhero movie for 20 years because clearly the problem was that we had a female-led superhero movie and not that it was a shitty movie. So on the one hand, right, like super into that. I want more of that. I want more women to be in more movies. On the other hand, Superman versus Batman was so bad.
You didn't like it?
I have yet to see it.
I didn't see it.
You guys are really dropping the ball. You guys need to watch more movies. What are you doing with your time?
I saw Superman when that one came out, and I kind of left the theater, and I was like, that can't have really happened. But it had.
Man of Steel was pretty awful too.
Right, so Man of Steel. So and then when Superman versus Batman came out, and it just sounded so dire. So I really want this one to do well, but in the same way that I thought Suicide Squad, it was good that it had such a diverse cast. And, so I want movies with diverse casts to do well. But on the other hand, Suicide Squad looks so awful that I also didn't want to see it. So I feel I kind of feel that way about this. I mean, without saying that it looks as bad as Suicide Squad, but just that I'm very, very leery of DC movies. If the reviews are good, I'll go see it opening weekend. And if they're bad, I'm going to, avoid eye contact with the movie. So
I'm actually kind of looking forward to the Baywatch movie.
I thought it was a TV series.
It was, but a long time ago, but they're turning it into a movie.
Well, I thought that it was a TV series in 2017.
Oh, no.
It's just a movie.
Didn't they try to bring it back as a TV series though?
They may have. I don't know. I don't follow the Baywatch franchise close enough to know about that. But I like The Rock. I like Zac Efron.
Zac Efron is what is making me interested in this.
They're both very well. Do very well with comic timing. And this looks like one of those movies that's so stupid you can't help but enjoy it.
Side story: I heard about Baywatch at night. It was
the spin-off, like Baywatch Nights.
Something like that.
The first season was a detective show, and then the second season they turned it into an X-Files ripoff.
Right. I tried to. I heard about it, and I was like, "Have I been missing this?" And so I tried to watch it.
And you haven't been missing anything, have you?
Well, I couldn't get through, the first 20 minutes because it just looked like Baywatch to me, and I was like, I can't do this. This is really weird.
Jen, what are your thoughts about the Baywatch movie?
Yeah, I'm busy that weekend.
Really? I thought you were a Zac Efron fan.
I mean, look, I am a Zac Efron. Well, okay, am I a fan? I don't know that I would use that word to describe myself. I will say Zac Efron has turned out to be a lot funnier than I ever would have guessed based on, High School Musical, which I was a little bit too old for, but my sister watched, and so I ended up watching and was like, okay, this is a thing that's happening. But, I was not particularly impressed by Zac Efron. But he has grown a lot of muscles and has become funny. And if they're going to keep putting him in movies, I guess I will keep watching them. But my memories of Baywatch as a 6 to 9 year old or however old I was when that show was on was that nothing actually happened and it was just about women running around in bathing suits. So
the impression I get with this show is they're taking the same sort of track that they took the 21 Jump Street movie, and that taking the concept, taking the names, but kind of lampooning it at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Right, because in the trailer you see why is this always in slow motion? Yeah, and I don't think that they really ever talked about why it was in slow motion in the original.
So I see where you're coming from, Jen. But I don't know. It might be terrible, but I'm cautiously optimistic.
Look, if it turns out to be good, I'll go see it. I'll probably see it before you guys do.
Yeah, you will.
But, I don't know. I remain skeptical that a show that, as far as I can tell, was solely so that people could watch Pam Anderson run around in a bathing suit, is going to be... Yeah, but who knows? I mean, I did like 21 Jump Street, so... We'll see.
All right, going from comedy to horror.
It.
The It movie.
Yeah, I don't know what to think of this. I never really enjoyed the original It, but they've had enough time to fine tune this, and clowns are. I feel like clowns might be the next zombies because we've seen all of them in the news.
Oh yeah.
And you're already starting to see these stupid clown movies, just like there's all those stupid zombie movies. I think there's a possibility that this could really make a mark. It's kind of along the lines of, I can see this being along the lines of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, where the original was pretty good, and the sequel took it in a very different direction, but kept up the intensity, and was pretty successful. Whereas in this one, it was more, story and scary based. And I think as long as they keep with that, where they actually make it legitimately scary rather than going for, like, I don't know, something gross or, I don't know. Like, you see the Nightmare on Elm Street remake, and that just failed because it didn't have much of the charm that Robert Englund brought to it. And I feel like that's one of the primary reasons that it failed. So, I don't know. You have to have a happy clown that's ironic, I think is the correct use of the word in this one.
Jen, you have any thoughts on It?
I don't know. I feel like the original was so instrumental in a lot of, like, if you look at clowning from a historical perspective, a sentence I say most every other day. Clowns as, creepers is sort of a much more recent thing. They weren't. It's a much more recent thing, due in part to It, the original It, due in part to John Wayne Gacy. It's sort of interesting because I think when the original It came out, we didn't have as much of a history of clowns being creepers, but
Right.
now I think we have such a, like, I mean, do you guys remember in 2016 when suddenly there were, like, random clown sightings?
Yeah.
And, like, my
That's so
sister
weird.
called and was, like, upset that she would have to, like, walk from her car to my house because
Wait,
about clowns, and I was like, what? Oh my god. And
because there were actually two instances of that. Because the stuff that happened last year, and then there was again, like 2 years ago, but that was more of a marketing ploy, kind of like when the new Chucky movie came out, and they actually had, like, small people, like, running around like Chucky to scare people and to, like, Instagram it and whatnot.
right.
But yeah, the one, I think it was like in 2014 or something, which turned out to be that marketing ploy. But last year was actually legit, where,
People were screwing around.
yeah.
So I don't know. It'll be interesting. I think we're coming at it from a really different place than we were when the original came out 30 years ago. So, and I feel like so many people I know are afraid of clowns because of the original It, and so it'll be interesting to see if this creates a new generation of fear, or if people just are already scared, and so it's just going to feel like turning on the news. It'll be interesting.
Yeah. I do want to put a plug in for Full Moon Features Killjoy series. There's like 4 or 5 of them that are. The first one isn't very good, but as they progress, they get much better. And this is a Full Moon Pictures, so it's along the ilk of, like Ginger Dead Man and Puppet Master and Evil Bong. So they're stupid, but they're fun. And I would probably rather enjoy watching another Killjoy over, this remake of It. But Full Moon Features is some of my favorite movies of all time.
Mm-hmm.
So, let's move on to another horror film, another remake horror film, Flatliners.
Yeah, not a whole lot is known about this, other than the fact that it has Ellen Page in it. The original had Kiefer Sutherland or Donald Sutherland, I believe.
Kiefer. Donald is his dad.
Okay.
The dude,
Yeah.
Jack Bauer. The original had Jack Bauer.
Right. Yes, there's not a whole lot that's known about this. It's
Yeah, I didn't
That
even know
movie
that they
where-
were remaking this movie.
right. It's yeah, basically about flatlining and having near-death experiences, and so it's got Ellen Page in it, and that's what targeted me towards it. Not much else to say about that one.
So let's get we're getting kind of long here, so let's jump into these last two really quickly. Blade Runner 2, 2049, starring Harrison Ford and Ryan Gosling.
This is hands down my most exciting. I'm looking forward to this movie most because, as I mentioned in like the past 3 podcasts that I've been in, it's one of my favorite movies of all time. The trailer is really holding up. It's got that. It doesn't tell me too much, but it tells me just enough that I need to, get through to November, December, whenever it's coming out.
Will it be as boring as the original Blade Runner?
You mean slow? And I hope so.
No, I mean boring.
Yes, Blade Runner is a very slow movie, but that's some of the types of movies that I like. Are the ones where they're just drawn out and yeah. How do you feel about it?
I didn't care much for the original Blade Runner and its 900 different versions of it. So I have
There were 2 different versions.
No, there were not. There's like at least 5. Or maybe 3. I don't know, but there were a ton of versions of it. And I don't even know which one's like the canonical one. You have the director's cut, the theatrical cut, the final cut, the assembly cut, the cut where Ridley Scott showers himself in money, the cut where I don't know. But I don't know. It's a movie I want to like, but I can't. No.
Jen, if you watch one Harrison Ford movie this year, you know which one it's going to be.
Raiders
Is
of
it
the
going to
Lost
be
Ark.
Blade Runner 2049?
Blade Runner. I don't know how much Harrison Ford is going to be in 2049. It is, for those of you who don't know, there's kind of this debate as to whether Harrison Ford is an android or a replicant in this one, and it's never really answered in it. You can make your assumptions based off a number of ideas, but you don't really know. And that was how Philip K. Dick wanted it to be, where you were really questioning, is he an android or not?
Well, in the original book, he wasn't an android. He was just like a regular schlub.
Yeah.
In the movie was the one that brought that idea up.
Right. But it's common in Dickian literature that is he really who he thinks he is? And I think that Ridley Scott really brought that out. Ridley Scott is not directing 2049.
Isn't the guy who did Arrival directing 2049?
Oh, I don't know. That gives me hope, though.
I thought I heard that.
Denis Villeneuve.
Jen, you know stuff. Does that sound about right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I
yeah.
have no idea. Do you
How
think
about that?
I read Blade Runner articles?
Well, no. If you knew the director's name of Arrival,
It was some French guy.
Yeah, Denis Villeneuve.
so he's
I'm
directing.
sure I'm butchering that name. So yeah, that will go down as my most looked forward to movie of the year, and assuming I will see this movie opening day.
Well, let's wrap up with Disney's Star Wars Episode 8.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to it because the previous Star Wars movie was awesome. I'm not talking about Rogue One. And the culture has me hooked on. I want to know who Daisy is. I want to know. I want to know where the story is going. There's so much that we don't know, and I'm just a sucker for it. I want to know.
I'm looking forward to it. Right now it's just sort of there. Maybe when we get closer to the release, I'll be more excited because the episode 7 was pretty entertaining. I just hope it's not as much of a retread as episode 7 was.
Yeah.
Because episode 7 was very much plot point by plot point of the original Star Wars, which I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but it's now that they got that out of their system, let's shake it up. Let's do something different. But I don't know. Disney's going to be making these movies until we're all dead, so yay that.
Jen, what's your opinion on it?
I have not seen a Star Wars movie, so like whatever. But R.I.P. Carrie Fisher.
Yeah.
All right. So I guess that's all we got.
Yeah, definitely.
I think we went through a lot. I have a lot to edit.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
What are we at? An hour 30 right now?
Yeah, but I think we didn't get started till like 10 minutes in, so
Yeah.
I'll cut down this turd sandwich. But
Absolutely.
yeah. So, all right. Any final thoughts about 2017, the year in which no one's going to die ever, according to social media?
I'm all for more movies, more TV, more everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm optimistic.
All right. Well, in that case, thank you, Jen. Thank you, Gorehound, for joining me on tonight's episode. Next week is going to be a special part 1 of 2, where my wife and I...
Oh, you're releasing it, huh?
I'm going to release it. It's going to be a January release.
All right.
Where my wife and I will talk about our time in Ireland and talking about Ireland in general. So we're kind of going off book of what's the normal thing there.
Keeping it fresh.
Yes. Week, I guess, could still record a podcast. We'll just
Hands down.
have it in
How
reserve.
am I going to get through my week?
I don't know. By watching Jay and Silent Bob again, apparently.
Oh, the Graveyard Queen will not be. She won't be happy about that. She's had enough of Jay and Silent Bob for a lifetime. So
anyway, look forward to that. It's a special 2-part episode because we had a lot to say. And then I think after that we'll be nearing February. And Gorehound, are we going to do a Kevin Smith month? Is that still on the table?
Yeah, my birthday month is going to be all about the man that I love.
Okay, that was weird. Jen, are you down with that too?
That sounds exhausting. All right, let's see what happens.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Once again, I'm Nick.
I'm the Gorehound.
I'm Jen.
We'll see you next week. You've been listening to the all-new Culture Cast, one of Chicagoland's finest podcasts.
You're making me fall asleep to death.
Well, I guess there's not much we can do about that. In the meantime, check out our blog at znculturecast.wordpress.com. Send us an email at nick.culturecast@gmail.com. We'd love to hear your feedback, comments, and requests. Follow us on social media. Theme music by bensound.com. This has been a Saltwater production, copyright 2017. Thanks for listening. All right.